In this video, we're going to have a look at how do we factorise expressions that involve 4 terms. So looking at the steps required, the first step is to remove any common factors that are in all 4 terms. The second step is then to group each pairs and then look for common factors within each group. Rearrange the pairs if needed to make sure you've got 2 pairs, each with a common factor. Step 3 is to take out the common factor in each pair. So essentially you are factorising each of the 2 pairs you've created. Once you have factorised each pair, you should then have a common factor between each set of factorised pairs. And then step 4 is to write in factorised form by taking out that common set of factors and putting it in your first set of brackets, and then rewriting the remaining terms in your second set of brackets. Factorising 4 terms is easier to learn through looking at examples. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. In the first example, you want to factorise the expression 2x plus ax plus 2y plus ay. Now the first step is to look for any common factors between all 4 terms. We don't have any common factors between all 4 terms. So we can move on to the second step, which is to group the terms into pairs. So the easiest way to do that, first up, is to group the first 2 together and then group the second 2 together. So that is going to equal 2x plus ax and then 2y plus ay. And to make sure my groups are going to work, I want to make sure that I've got a common term between both. So in my first pair, I've got an x and an x. In my second pair, I've got a y and a y. So now I can move on to the third step, which is to take out a common factor from each pair. So for the first pair, I'm taking out x, and that leaves me with 2 plus a. And then second pair, I'm taking out y, and that leaves me with 2 plus a. Now at this step, you would note I've got a 2 plus a and a 2 plus a. Now this is what I want to get to be able to write in factorised form. And I take that 2 plus a and write it in my first set of brackets. And then in my second set of brackets, I take what is left. So for my first pair, I've got x, and then for my second pair, I've got plus y. So my factorised form of my original expression is 2 plus a and then x plus y. So let's have a look at another example. So in this example, I want to factorise the expression 7mn minus 21m plus 35n minus 105. Now the first step is to check for any common factors between all 4 terms. In this example, I have a common factor of 7. So I want to remove that common factor by dividing each term by 7. And I'll rewrite it with 7 being removed, and that leaves me with mn minus 3m plus 5n minus 15. So now I want to move on to step 2, which is to group my 4 terms into pairs, and it's going to be the 4 terms that are inside of my brackets. And I'm going to group my first 2 terms together and then group my second 2 terms together. And so it's going to be 7 and then mn minus 3m plus 5n minus 15. Now my third step is to factorise each of those pairs that I have created, and to do that I want to make sure that I've got a common factor between each pair. So in my first pair I've got an m and an m. In the second pair I've got a 5 and then another factor of 5. So the third step is going to be to factorise each of those pairs. So mn minus 3m, common factor of m, and then n minus 3 inside the bracket, plus 5, and then n minus 3 inside the bracket. Now you'll notice at this step that I have got a common factor of n minus 3 and n minus 3. So in my final step in factorised form, my first set of brackets is going to be n minus 3. And then in my second set, I'm going to write what it's left, which is from my first pair is m. So m, and then from my second pair plus 5. And then still carry the 7 on the outside. So the factorised form is going to be 7 n minus 3 m plus 5. So that is a couple of examples of how do we factorise expressions involving 4 terms.